Above the round table, the voices of the gods danced back and forth. The main thing is that the goddesses present favorable conditions for Hestia and the others, and then the male gods reject them. This tug of war has been repeated hundreds of times. Hestia, who had attended earlier in the morning, was also actively voicing her opinions, but was ostensibly ignored, so she yelled, "What do you mean you don't even care about the people involved? They are also Freya Resonator. You should call us fans." That's right. After all, we were also taken care of by Lady Freya. Even at this moment, I want to help her, or it should be like this at this moment. The many male gods of Orario are very partial to the god of beauty Freya, this is a well-known fact. For the sake of their beloved goddess, they sometimes make their own decisions and perform certain actions. This is the case today. They want to secretly support Freya. Only this time, Freya did something unforgivable. Don't you understand? Of course I do. But the love for Freya-sama is stronger than that. If you work hard right now, maybe you'll be rewarded, but ultimately, we still hope that Lady Freya is still a queen. Modi and Magni showed a smile completely different from the usual one until now. Takamikazuchi sighed. Perhaps, with the exception of some gods like Takamikazuchi, Mayak and Ganesha, all other male gods act according to the same principle as the two gods. Today's Donatus repeats futile arguments every day, which can be described as the epitome of the struggle between the forces on Hestia's side and supporters on Freya's side. We also didn't want to get a particularly favorable condition for Freya-sama. In other words, Freya-sama probably doesn't want that either. However, at least we will make a fair deal, a gap in the strength of the country. 6:4 or 7:3, the coalition will take the lead, so we will be satisfied. So we won't allow stupid forms like big appetite competitions anyway. Modi and Magni were talking back and forth, almost like brothers. They clearly stated that this was the point of compromise, and also to protect Freya's reputation. The same thing happened to Loki. If the guild hadn't issued that warning, we would have barred that woman from participating in the war. No matter what Freya-sama says, we will do it. Exclamation point. Ah, I understand you. Even if Loki enters, I will start the game at the same time to provoke civil strife in the coalition forces. I'll let our children attack them, we'll attack Belcranel and you. After all, it's not reasonable at all, much less fair. Mayak and Takamikazuchi looked at the faces of Modi and Magni who declared this. What do you mean by reason? Takamikazuchi asked. Just to see if it's Loki. So Modi stated so succinctly. Is it too extreme? Miyachi frowned. Where is it extreme? Isn't that normal? Then Magni shrugged. Hephaestus, forget it. After all, these guys are blacksmiths. Once the fight starts, Hestia's group will be the center and they will command. But Loki's side can't do that. If Loki is involved, then everything is going to be these two clash. Neither Mayak nor Takamikazuchi were left speechless. Command, tactics, combat power, everything will be tinged with Loki's color. The center is just a decoration. It is no longer the coalition of factions led by Hestia, but the coalition of factions snatched by Loki. Then it would be better to play war games with Loki from the beginning. Besides, this wouldn't turn into a simple lynching, so what kind of confrontation? Modi and Magni added this. Mayak and Takamikazuchi noticed something. Even if the guild fails to act, Loki will not be able to enter the battle. The fair name is very important. However, can't you mistake the purpose? After all, this is just a war game between the Hestia Familia and the Freya Familia. Another large group of coalition forces must be accompanied by Hestia. His proposition is very correct. The goddesses held a grudge against Freya, who was once the absolute queen, and tried their best to drive her out of the city, but the gods who knew the love of the goddess of beauty steadfastly refused such a thing to happen. So you're staying with Freya and the others? Of course not. In other words, it's impossible. After all, that's what Freya-sama wants. Although I'm sure I tried my best to make this battle reasonable, but that's about it. If someone wants to say, let's fight Freya-sama, they probably won't be kicked out, but they'll be beaten right away. By the time she declared that she wanted to play a war game, Lady Freya had already decided to fight on her own. Only the goddesses' reserve, we cannot touch. Modi and Magni finally fought with each other. The serious expression that suits the gods can be summed up in this way. Mayak and Takamikazuchi didn't speak. At the same time, I have a new understanding of them. Modi and the others also have something called faith in their hearts. That's right, so we originally planned to watch from the sidelines, but that idiot Dormal. I won't listen to advice. But in the next moment, Magni and Modi completely lost that seriousness and cried. They still remember that little Aina was tricked by us that time. I am the god, I don't know how many times I spoke, but they heard nothing. He also said, who will obey your orders? Woo, idiot lover. You silly son. Seeing the two male gods crying out loud, Mayak who was serious now. He finished dash. Our family is over dash. It's all on its own. Takamikazuchi family, Mayak family, Modi family, Magni families, join the war. Those shitty male gods. You know how to make trouble for us dash. The matter has reached this point, and we still want to form an alliance of goddesses. Hateful Freya. Every night after the meeting of the gods, the goddesses wrapped in black robes spoke loudly in the strange hall. Demeter can't do that. That guy's faction has a lot of problems, and he's very weak right now, not to mention that she and Freya are still on good terms. The only person who would invite Freya to bathe in the holy bath. Not to mention, those boobs. Oh, those big boobs. Circuit is unforgivable like that. Then he is not our mate. That's the way it is, Hathor. And it's up to you, come and take the lead. No why dash. Long black hair tied haphazardly in fair skin, earrings and necklaces made from figs, and a face whose upper half is blocked by a cow mask. Height 155 c, taller than the young goddess Hestia. That girl who covers her face is Hathor. She is the goddess of a pillar who sits on the Tower of Harvest, in the Festival of the Goddess, and it is rumored among the male gods that they really have the strongest motherhood. You are not the goddess of fertility like Demeter and Freya. Ishtar, the vanguard of the anti-Freya promotion faction, has disappeared, and now only you can take on this important task. But I don't think so of the beauty goddess Freya who is hateful dash. And my abundance is just a feeling like a free gift. Hathor leaned back in the seat and refused, but the goddesses did not give up. Didn't you say earlier that reverse harem is now unforgivable dash, and what else is, show you what the real reverse harem looks like dash. The alliance of goddesses, join the battle. Time passed. The Council of the Gods is held every day, and the discussion is not over yet. People who can only look at the gigantic tower of chalk began to feel a vague feeling of unease in their hearts. Even the guild people can only wait for the gods to make a decision. During this time, more people decided to join the war and their names were registered with the faction's coalition forces. Looking at these outstanding combat members registered on the roster, the guild staff also began to have opinions that maybe there is something to do. No. I'm going to lose. It's been a week since Bel announced the war game, and that night, Hermes sat in the chair. This is the base, Hermes Familia, in the divine room. As soon as he returned from the meeting of the gods, he casually threw the scroll in his hand onto the table, and Asphi, who had been waiting for him to come back, didn't immediately make a sound when she saw the appearance of her main god. Is it too early to draw conclusions now? It's not too soon. Hestia and the others and Belcoin will lose. They definitely will. The sentence forced him to back off. It has nothing to do with how much combat power you've gathered. It's no use how much combat strength is there. That's the way to start a war against Freya-sama.